not really prepared.
Yeah, you're not prepared. Shocking stuff. All right, here we are, episode 14, Iron Age Radio. We're here in the best gym in the whole damn world, Iron Age, in the worst city in the whole damn world, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Just kidding, it's fine here. It's just really cold and snowy and shitty.
Yep.
How are you, Jan? Oh, I'm here with the amazing, beautiful, lovely, still a guest host. I want to make that very clear, is that she's not like a permanent fixture on this show yet. She just happens to be here a lot. Do you want to be a permanent fixture?
Well, I don't think you can record on your own.
No, I can't. I don't know how to do it. But, I mean, like, on camera, she's still just a guest host right now. Jan Sarame, the world's strongest...
Big bitch.
No, there's no way that's true.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
There's way stronger people that carry bags than you.
World's strongest Filipino hairstylist in Winnipeg.
Maybe. There's probably a powerlifter who's, like, a Filipino hairstylist that's really strong.
In my weight division.
Yeah, that's inarguable. The 57 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Sure. There we go.
Thank
That's
you.
What she is. Jan Sarame,
Thank you so
much.
much.
So we're here on the eve of the arrival of the arguably the best strongman coach in the world today, Alec Jose. He's coming into Iron Age tomorrow to do a seminar with us, which we're very excited about. Actually, sorry, before I get into that, I did have a note here that me and Gian, we live together. We live in the same house, and we have a cooler, a big deep freeze in the basement that we have full of various meats. And we're finally working through this like quarter cow that we had bought, and now we're getting to this beautiful little assortment of ground beef packages that Manitoba competitor Mark Schramm gave us from the Schramm Cattle Co. And Gian, tell everybody how delicious that beef is.
It's so good.
Good.
I get sad if I have to go to Superstore and get like a package of ground beef because it just
it's the worst.
Tastes like nothing. It looks like shit.
And it all fries away, like all the fat fries out of it.
Yeah.
Terrible. Schramm Cattle Co. Mark Schramm is one of the very involved people in Manitoba Strongman. We love him very much. He's a great guy. Working with our own Michael Thrones here, seeing some incredible improvements. Don't think that Thrones is just like a hyper-focused on powerlifting kind of guy. He is. That's his bread and butter. But he's proving with Mark Schramm that he can really improve people on their strongman skills too.
He's also very hyper-focused on strongman also. Like he knows stats of everything.
I'm not sure. Maybe people don't know that about Thrones, is that he's not like, he can talk to you all day about powerlifting stuff, but he also knows as much or more about like the pro scene and strongman and the recent history of strongman as anybody that I know. So he's if you ever see him, talk strongman with him because he knows his shit. He's a guy where like I feel like people maybe in the gym don't even really fully understand like we're so lucky to have a guy where it's like if you just ask him a question, like he knows the research behind these about anything you could want to know about like training, some stuff with supplementation and nutrition, things like that.
Yeah.
But he's just a guy where it's like if you just spend all day with him here, and if you know like what to ask and what to talk about, you can get a fucking education from this guy.
Yeah.
In just a couple of hours.
For free.
And I do it all the time. Like he's really improved my own coaching and my own training and stuff by just chatting with the guy.
And like sometimes I'll even see something on Instagram and I go, "Is that true?" And then he'll tell me all the reasons why it's not true.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's good for that. He's good for the misinformation busting. I appreciate that about him. Yep. Thrones is not paying us for this, but we think he's a great guy. And if you're looking for a coach, hey man, why not? So anyway, shout out to Mark Schramm. Shout out to the Schramm Cattle Co., which is where he trains. That's his gym that he lists, which I fucking love. And if anybody wants to give us meat, we'll take it. But it better be at least as good as Mark Schramm's. Otherwise, don't waste your fucking time.
We'll review it for free.
Yeah, don't waste your time. So anyway, we have Alec Jose coming in tomorrow. We're all very excited for that. We ended up with a really great sign up for it. I think that we have like 23 people, which is that's great. Like 20 is kind of the number that I want to hit, just to make sure that it's like we have 2 groups of 10, nice full sessions. Everyone's learning lots and all that shit without it being too crowded. But we have we had a lot of people who were excited to take part in this, and I didn't want to turn people away that were interested in learning and progressing and improving. So we went a little bit over that 20 that we normally look for, and I think that everyone's really going to benefit from this. He is going to do 2 sessions, and then he said he's going to just hang out afterwards, and anybody who wants to get a lift in or whatever, just hang out and lift and just ask him questions, talk to him. He can watch you, whatever. Like, how can you beat that?
Right. Like, you can't get that anywhere else.
No.
And it's very special because a lot of the time, if somebody has a seminar or something, they're so quick to peace out.
Sure.
Like, they're like, okay, like,
Dan Green, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. Was that Dan Green's where he had a flight in and out the same day.
yeah.
And that was not the people who put it on. That was not their thing. That was just what he wanted for whatever. So
Right.
I remember he was like they were watching deadlifting afterwards, and his manager / wife, I don't know, was like hurrying him along, and I was like, I paid for this. Like
Yeah.
this is you know what I'm saying? Like this anyway. Dan Green's a nice guy, and he was really cool and everything, but that scheduling was no good.
And it, like, I don't know, like, they're not obligated to stay afterwards and
No.
give a shit.
No.
But, like, he just does.
Yep. And
Right.
and that's the thing, is that we book guys that we know want to do that shit.
Yeah.
We're not booking guys where it's like, oh, this will be a fun Instagram post for later for you to get, like, where it's like, I mean, sure, if you want to get a picture with Alec, you should, but he's not. That's not why we're bringing him in. He's not like an internet celebrity who is all fluff and no substance. He's all substance, and he's also quite fluffy too. I realized as soon as I said that he's one of the fluffier coaches in strongman. So,
Like, in texture, not body composition.
Yeah, his beard and his hair and stuff. Yeah, so we're very, very excited to have him. He's doing my coaching now, leading into the North America's Strongest Man. So look out, Max Boudreau. Anyway, so we got some stuff we want to talk about a little bit here today. Mostly just Western Canadian oriented stuff. Manitoba kind of radiating outwards. So we have all of the events and a pretty good list here of the competitors so far for Western Canada's Strongest Man. It's looking like, just honestly, it's looking to be like one of the more exciting competitions maybe like ever in Western Canada, just purely on the events. Like, the events are so cool.
Right.
A shout out to Ken Kidder for putting together like a really outstanding set of events here. That's gonna like draw a lot of guys. I think a lot of guys who might have been kind of like, maybe, we'll see. Like, these events will move the needle for guys who will now really want to make an effort. Like, I know that, say, like, Jeffers is a guy where he's got a lot going on this year, in and out of strongman, and he's laid up right now. He had sort of a minor surgery. We won't get too much into it. Procedure, we'll call it. And he's on the recovery from that, so he's not like training or anything right now. But even he was like, "Shit, this looks like good stuff." Like, these events, which we'll get into a little bit of the events, but the list of competitors is already looking really strong too. Lots of good mix of the pros and AMs, and it's getting to the point where the AMs and the pros are like pretty like meshed. You know,
Yeah.
like, there's like a lot of guys here who could very easily hang with the pros in a lot of these events. I look at let's say like Ryan Stickle. He's a guy who I saw him front squatting like 600 pounds for reps or something crazy like that. So like the squat event's going to be a fucking good one for him. And so let's go through so far the competitors that we have before we get too far into the events. We have Archer Wallace, where he's a guy where I don't know if I've actually met him in person aside from one time years and years ago when I was like maybe scratching this, like getting my very feet wet in strongman at the very, very beginning. He came and like lifted with Dom one time at McDowell's.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the only time that I think that I've ever met him. But like, we have a good group chat going with all the Western pros and stuff. So I've talked to him quite a bit and stuff in there. So super excited to see him competing. I've never competed against him. I don't think I've ever seen him compete in person. So that's cool. Ryan Stickle, as we mentioned, one of the AM guys who's going to come and try to really fuck shit up. He's a super gym strong guy. Like, he has really great static strength. And this is an event that maybe doesn't super favor that, besides a couple of things. So we'll see. Like, maybe he's awesome at the dynamic stuff too. I'm just going off by what I see on Instagram and shit. But I know that, say, like this, like I said, the squat will be one that he'll be looking forward to. James Jeffers will be having
James Tyler Jeffers.
Yeah, the choo-choo train James Jeffers. He will be an interesting one in this because he's not a guy that you ever want to bet against. Former Western Canada's Strongest Man. But this is just a weird year for him.
Right.
There's a lot going on. He's got a baby coming up. He's got this recovery that he's doing right now. He's got a lot of other shows that are certainly, I don't want to downplay the importance of Western Canada's Strongest Man, but he's thinking that next step now, right? Mm-hmm. So he could be a little distracted. So I'll be curious to see how this goes for him. And some of these events are really good for him. And I can't think of any that are like really bad. There's not really like any like bad events. I know his squat kind of sucks compared to some of these guys.
Well, I know his bench sucks, but there's no bench
Yeah.
there.
Oh, God, fucking. There's a bench event in an Eastern Circuit
shit.
show. I fucking wish. Oh, I wish. Ryan Javeley. So he's a guy too where he's coming back from. He's had a really chronic back injury for a long time, like basically as long as I've been. Like since like I've been back in strongman, like 2001 or 2. He's the guy who's been kind of hyped as like once he gets his back in order, he will be the next guy to jump to that pro circuit. But he just hasn't had that opportunity yet. But from what I see in his training and stuff, he's getting better. He's healing. He's looking strong. So super excited to see him back at it. I don't think that I've competed against him since like 2002 Westerns.
2002?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it's been a minute.
How old were you in 2002?
2022.
Oh my God.
Whoops. Oh,
I was
shit.
like, you're not competing in strongman in 2002.
I was competing at 12 years old at Western Canada Strongest
Right.
Man. Yeah. Yeah, it was really, really good back then. Me and Jeff Dolan he's a World's Strongest Man competitor who was from Regina.
Right.
Me and him were neck and neck at Western Canada Strongest Man in 2002.
Yeah, as a 12-year-old.
Yeah, as a 12-year-old.
Okay.
It's been a little bit of a decline since then. Billy Hornaday making his pro debut on the
Right.
Canadian circuits. He's a guy that I'll be very interested to watch in this. Statically, he's not there yet. But this is also like we're like 18 weeks out from this competition, so he could very well get there. He has some work to do, but I think that he's a guy who, from what I see on his Instagram, he definitely is not afraid of putting the work in. So I'd be very interested to see how he hangs on this one. There's also a lot of like, so we have like the squat and the static events, but we also have a lot of very dynamic, moving, very like strongman skill events.
Right.
Where being good at these events might beat being really strong, if that makes sense. Brad Shepard, the first first Canadian man to squat 1,000 plus in competition. He squatted 1,003 pounds. So when we talk about the squat event, the squat is reps at 635. So we're talking about 63% of his 1 rep max.
Right.
So it's easy to be like, oh, it's reps. He's a big single squatter. Maybe that's not going to be there for the reps. 60% he should be all right. I think
Right.
he should be able to bang out some real fucking
It'll be
solid reps with
interesting
that.
too because it's not on a barbell that spins.
No, that it's a weird fixed implement that's not even a
Yeah.
bar from what I hear.
Do you touch it to pads?
TBD or TBA, I'm not sure yet. I haven't heard anything about that yet, but I would assume, I hope, because that just makes it
Right.
just clear across the board who's getting reps and who's not. Alex Crisby, another guy, statically strong. We've seen from some of his competitions in the past, he needs to get like his strongman skill events up a little bit. But he's had a long time since I've seen him compete last, so maybe he has. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And there's still a long time to go. That's the thing. We've got these events like way in advance. It feels like we're talking about a competition that's coming up in like 4 weeks or something, but it's like fucking months and months
Right.
away.
And some people have known them for even longer.
Some people have known them for a long time.
For
Some
like
people-
2 years now.
Yeah, some people got into strongman knowing the events for Western Canada's Strongest Man, Larson. Sam Risling, another Regina guy, or Regina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Saskatoon or Saskatchewan, but for sure Regina. Or holy shit,
One of the two. At least one.
for sure Saskatchewan. I'm pretty sure Regina.
Absolutely Western Canada.
Yeah, he's definitely from Western Canada. There's no question about that. No, but this is one for him where he had a great showing in Westerns last year. He beat your boy, and he
I was like, who's my boy?
okay.
Which one?
Yeah. But he had a really great showing last year, and I think that this year the events favor him more. He's a good squatter. He's a good axle presser from the very little that I've seen, and circus dumbbell is good for him too. So
But he's also very fast.
and that's the thing. He's
Yeah.
he's athletic. There's some
I've never seen someone be so hyper when he shouldn't be.
Yeah, he's a ball of energy, that guy.
Right.
And he's a guy too where he's not like his leverages aren't great for say stones.
Right.
But he's also just super strong. So you can't count him on any
It
of that
almost
shit.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. And speaking of great leverages, Larson Hare. What are you laughing at?
I wasn't.
You
I nodded. I was
no,
like,
you went. and tried to stifle something.
No.
Why are you laughing when I said
What are you
Larson's
talking
name?
about? Leverages.
Why did you laugh when I said Larson's name?
Tyler. I didn't.
What's funny about Larson?
Huh?
What's funny about Larson?
Everything about him. He's just a cutie.
I actually really enjoyed the video he had where he's like training for Alberta's Strongest Man. It's just like him like can't get off his back in the water. Like, he's like "Ah."
That was really funny because I'm
That
like,
was good.
yeah, forced to be reckoned with. This
Yeah.
cutie right here.
I like it. But he will be a force to be reckoned with in this competition. So
He's just stupid strong.
well, and I'm resisting because we haven't gone over the events yet, so I'm resisting like going back and forth as to what guys are going to be good at. But I guess I should have started with the events. But like Larson has 3, maybe 4 events here that are just like really good for him, and like so he's a guy where when the events this is going to sound very obvious, but like when the events are good for him, he does really well. Like he really takes advantage of that. Like say like
Right.
the Magnus competition in Gimli didn't have really strong events for him. There's at least 1 or 2 that he was kind of like on. But then say Westerns last year had a lot of really great events for him. Like you
Right.
were saying the front hold for some reason was really good for him. Why was that?
Because belly. It just works out better if you have a belly.
That's right. Josh Cloherty, another pro from out west, Alberta. He's been going through a lot of his own stuff that's kind of been hindering his training too. He's got a young child. I know he went to a home gym, garage gym recently to make that more convenient and stuff, right? But I think it takes a very special kind of athlete to make the home gym work. And I couldn't do it.
I don't understand how people can make it work.
No, I really like a community.
Yeah.
I really like an atmosphere. Like I hate going to an empty gym. I know everyone always posts that where they're like, "Wow, look at this, the empty gym, all for me. I love this." Like I fucking hate that.
But they're also doing something different too.
Well,
like
I also
when they
want
post
people
that.
to watch me, right? So that's just kidding, kind of. But I really do get like I get a sense of like atmosphere kind of like feeds to my energy levels a
Yeah.
little bit. You know what I mean? It's hard to be like to want to load up all this weight and hit these whatever you might be doing that day when it's just like a quiet dead space.
And it also like seems so corny when people like an MC for a competition would go like these athletes feed off of a crowd, but you can really tell when
true.
that starts to click,
Yeah,
right?
it's true. Oh,
yeah.
You're right. It sounds like it's like we got the noisometer. You know what I mean? But it's not that. It really does make a difference if you have eyes on you and you know that whatever. For me, it makes a difference at least. For some
Yeah.
guys, they can just dial it in and it's not a big deal to them.
Well, if you really think about it, it's a showman's sport,
For sure.
right? Like these people get into strongman because they like being watched, because they like being a spectacle,
Right. I always think it's interesting when guys get nervous in front of a crowd
right?
because that's just like I've never like I've wrestled before this, right? So
Yeah.
I've been much more exposed in front of a crowd than
Right.
like literally exposed in front of a crowd than with strongman. So when someone's like, oh, you know, it kind of affects me to be in front of a crowd, like I'm like, that's interesting because it just doesn't affect me in that way at all.
Right.
Like
I
it's-
could not relate to that at all.
There's lots of people
Yeah.
that just does,
I don't want anybody watching.
yeah. But anyway, I'd be curious to see how the switch from because they went to Strength Edge before, which is a very like lots of lifters and a strongman's gym, strongman powerlifting gym. So it's like that kind of mindset to doing things on his own. So I'd be curious to see how that works for him.
Yeah.
He's a experienced lifter. I'm sure he won't let it shake him too much. And then the last one that we've announced so far is Andrew Langelar, the current Manitoba Strongest Man. His first pro debut as well. So him and Billy will both be doing the Arnold, so they'll have something to kind of fill the time before that a little bit. And I know that Langelar is doing some dumbass powerlifting meet too, I think, or something.
Like the Cornerstone one? Keystone.
Yeah.
Right.
Cornerstone we fuck with. Keystone we're neutral to.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's like some local powerlifting meet that's
Speaking of Langlar, newest podcast in Manitoba.
oh yeah, shout out to the Strength Shop podcast with our buddies Gordon and Andrew who are doing their own thing there, and they were I think they're recording in Gord's shop in Tyndall,
Yeah.
I think. So they're just
Tyndall Barbell.
yeah, so they're just talking their own shit of strongman, their experience with it and what they got coming up with that. So
Way less shit talking.
probably
Too nice. Way too nice guys.
The more the merrier when it comes to people getting involved in the strongman stuff here. The more like less than shockingly, people were like, "Oh, does this piss you off? Are you gonna whatever?" And then people are saying, like Langlar's telling me that people are like, "Yeah, like fuck Tyler," which is like, dude, like we don't do this. Like, I lose money doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I do it because I want this. It's you know I'll tell you something. Okay, so doing this podcast is actually a branding decision. It's a marketing decision because what we found was that people were kind of like checking out of Strongman when the season was over. Right? They finished the season. They want a little bit of a break. And then it's hard for people to kind of keep that connection. Nobody was kind of staying centered to Strongman. Mm-hmm. So I thought to myself, well, me and Devin did. Excuse me, not just me. How can we make it so that there's something to keep people thinking, talking, interested in Strongman when the season is over? Of course, we realized how extremely difficult that was to come up with content once the season was over.
Right.
But that's why we do this podcast. I don't make any fucking money off of it. In fact, I spend money because I have to buy the equipment and I have to what do we pay for? Like the cloud?
Oh, like the Google Drive and stuff? Yeah.
And that's like $2 a month that I pay for that fucking thing. So when you go to Langlar and you say to him, yeah, fuck Tyler and his little gay ass podcast or whatever, like that hurts my feelings because I'm just doing this for Manitoba Strongman. Like why does it have to be this fucking negative thing?
I have a job and I have to take time off of work to come here and do this shit, and I'm stressing over the bullshit because sometimes this doesn't work. And I have to redo it.
And it does. I'm just kidding. It doesn't actually hurt my feelings, but I
it
know
hurts
that
my feelings.
That's what I was gonna say. It does actually hurt Jan's feelings because I know that I can be something of a polarizing figure, and that's fine. But Jan's nice. Be nice to Jan.
I'm just a bystander, and I'm trying to help out, and I'm doing my best.
Yeah. So we we wish them nothing but the best in their new endeavor, and we hope that it works out. And
should we shout out the other podcast? The newest Manitoba powerlifting podcast.
Oh,
what is
no,
it called?
they got their own thing going on. They're good.
I forget.
I don't know what it's called, but they're good. They're fine on their own. So we shout out to them then, and hopefully that's becomes like a new fun thing that we can have a pair of strongman podcasts in Manitoba. And stop talking shit to Langlar about me because I find out.
Also, it's crazy that people think that you and him have this like weird beef.
Yeah, people think that we have beef.
And like they think that you guys like secretly hate each other.
Yeah.
And then
they're like, "Oh, I finally have somebody that I can go to with all my problems that I have with Tyler." And then I find out.
Langlar just like shows up to our shit and he's the nicest guy.
Yeah, he supports everything that we do. We support what he does. And like I like this thing too where it's like, man, that fucking Tyler, I can't stand him. It's like, oh, I'm really sorry, man. I'm really sorry that we put on all the competitions, and I'm sorry that we put on charity events. I'm sorry that we bring in seminars we don't make any fucking money on, and I'm sorry that I volunteer my time to go to Selkirk and work with all the new people that are doing the I was just like, I really am a piece of shit. You know that? Like I really am a motherfucking
You are
asshole.
abrasive sometimes, but
Excuse me?
You can be.
According to who?
Me. Do you disagree?
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I don't think that too many people would agree with you on that one, but
sound off in the comments if you think Tyler's abrasive.
No, don't sound off on anything if you think I'm abrasive. Just shut your fucking mouth. All right, back to Westers.
See how he talks to me?
Back to Westers. No, I'm saying them to just shut their fucking mouth.
Oh.
All of our valued listeners, shut your fucking mouth. Okay, so events for Westerns. Maybe the best selection of events that we've ever seen in a Western Canadian competition. The ASA, the Alberta Strongman Association, has their hands on some fantastic equipment. Alberta in general, like United Strength, is working with them to supply some of their stuff.
I have a question.
Please.
Is Colton confirmed as an athlete?
He's not on the list yet.
Okay.
So he is working through a bicep injury right now.
Oh,
so we're not entirely sure where that leaves him.
Right.
But hopefully, I really hope that he competes because I would love to see. There's a couple of names that I would like to see. Like I'd like to see Sean on this list. I have no idea where he's at for the season.
I would love for him to defend his title.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you always want to see the champion come back, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully that happens. And there's a couple other names on here. Like you might notice that there's a couple of Manitoba lifters missing off of there. Still figuring out. Like Dan's got his own stuff figuring out with school and stuff. I don't know what his deal is, so I'm not going to speak on what he's doing for the competitions this season. For myself, it's going to be a little bit closer to a game time decision. Like I really obviously want to do it, but we have a lot of financial obligations coming up this summer. We have a competition that we're running that same day, and I suck at squatting, so I just don't want to go.
Unfortunately.
That's not why. I know someone will believe that, but it's not why.
I've also pitched the idea of staying back, doing Western Masters, and helping run that here, and then you go to Western, so that way we can like try to mitigate both.
Yeah.
But I know that's not gonna happen.
I don't want to do that.
I know you don't.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun. I don't want to travel without you. That would suck.
Whose chair are you gonna spill into on the plane?
Well, it would be me and Jeffers hanging out, I guess, because Keelan won't be there either, probably, right?
Probably not.
Yeah, me and Jeffers could be best friends that weekend. That'd be fun.
Yeah, you could be best friends that weekend.
We are best friends. Okay, so events for Westerns. Squat for reps, 635. Nice heavy squat. It's not using a standard barbell or even like a axle barbell or anything. It's like some sort of like rig implement. So I don't know what that looks like or what that'll feel like or whatever, but I imagine it'll be a challenge. There's some huge squatters in this competition. Like there's like if I were to look at this, like I can pick 5 guys who would be squatting like 5+ on that. And
what was the weight for the squat at CSM?
680 or 675 or something.
Yeah.
And you look and say like Sean got some reps with that. Me and Jeffers both zeroed that, but that was fucking 3 years ago. Right. So I'd be very interested to see where those numbers are at right now. And you look at say a guy like Brad Shepard squatting 1,000 pounds. Like there's going to be some really cool numbers put up with that.
It was also crazy because a lot of guys like cramped up like crazy at the squat at CSM 2022. Like you would see them just like fall and then like almost like twitching.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like, oh God, that looks like lower back issues. But it was a lot of hamstring. Yeah. It was a lot of hamstring cramping.
Yeah. It's a very unforgiving, especially when you get the knee wraps on and shit. You just get jammed under there and you just sort of stuck. Are knee wraps allowed? As far as I know, I haven't heard much in the way of details of these yet, but I think so. The second event, easily the worst one of all, is the Dinny Walk. They have these big crazy drill bit things that have rings on the top of them that you carry. From my understanding, it's a little bit of like a higher pick than you would normally get from a Dinny, but the rings are also kind of flat and they're heavier too. Heavier than what we did last year at Westerns.
They're not adjustable to height.
No.
I would assume. Okay.
No. So
that'd be tricky if you were small, like shorter.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I wonder how short you could be and still do it. I don't know. Axle clean and press, a max axle clean and press, starting at 320 pounds. So nice heavy starting weight. I think that if I might have picked a weight on that one, I might have started with 300 because I think a lot of guys will get 320 and that's it. Or a lot of guys will miss 320 or just get 320. I think we could have split the points a little more, right? With a 300 start, but I'm very curious to see how high that gets. I don't know exactly what the actual record is right now for Western Canada, but there's definitely some guys here who are big time pressers. Larson would be a guy that I'd be really excited to see how high he get on that. He's a great presser. I don't know how his axle cleans are, but we know he's a good overhead presser. Yeah. The next event is the power stairs. I love a power stairs. Such a fun event. Not one that you get to see very often because who has the stair implements, right? It's pretty rare. I imagine they'll probably use the same ones that we had in St. Paul. Maybe? You weren't there.
I wasn't there.
But we had when Colton put on a competition in St. Paul for a pro show there, we had these great power stairs that he had built for that. So hopefully it's those again, but if not, I'm sure they're awesome, whatever. I like a power stairs event. I like a power stairs event for some of these guys too. Like I like it for Langelar being so tall.
A lot of clearance.
Yeah, a lot of clearance, and he's like an athletic kind of guy too. You wouldn't want to bet against Jeffers on a power stairs. He won that at the Arnold's, which is about as stiff a competition as you can get at this level. And if I were to pick one more, like the height would be a problem, but a guy like Sam, who's really explosive, I could see it being a good one for him too. Yeah. This is really, really cool. This is not one that I don't think I've ever seen this in a Western Canadian competition. I'm probably wrong. I haven't seen it, but done it myself though, which is the Fingal's Finger. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So for anybody who's not, it's just a giant cylindrical like piece of metal, like a tube or whatever, that's attached to a hinge, and you have to pick it up and walk towards the thing. And it gets kind of harder as you get closer to the pivot point, and you have to flip it over. Never see that in Western Canada. That's crazy. Like that's.
And it's huge and probably a nightmare for setup and
I can only
takedown.
imagine. Yeah, the setup for this show is going to be fucking bonkers.
As a volunteer, like all I keep thinking about is like, shit, that sucks.
Yes. So it's Fingal Fingers into a back drag of some kind. So very rough event, especially right in the middle of the competition. Like like it's going to be. You're going to notice
it'll blow people up for sure.
The quads you're going to feel on that drag. That's for sure. After squatting. Excuse me.
Holy shit.
Sorry. I did it. Instead of turning this way, I turned right at you.
There's so many directions you could have taken that.
Whoops. Circus dumbbell for reps, 200 pounds for reps, so not super heavy. But, you know, again, a guy like Sam Risling, that could be an event win for him for sure. Mm-hmm. Larson's good at that. Jeffers is good at that. If Colton's on the list, he's good at that.
Dan's on the list. He's good at that.
Yes, Dan. Josh Cloherty has a really great circus dumbbell. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of guys there who could really put up some numbers on that one. That actually might be kind of secretly one of the more fun events to watch, like more competitive events to watch.
Circus dumbbell is always fun to watch, though.
I like it. I do like a circus dumbbell event, but in terms of like the competitiveness between the athletes, like, that might be one of the more competitive ones. The yoke into the truck pull. So it's 1,000-pound yoke for 25 feet, so very short run. Mm-hmm. Into an arm over arm, like seated arm over arm truck pull. So I hate that part, but I like the yoke part. Mm-hmm. And I just got to work on the truck pull part. But that's, again, like I like an event like that where like someone was like, oh, why isn't this like just two separate events? But I do like the idea of combining two weird events like that, like two events that you wouldn't normally put together like that. I think that's a fun thing that like the Rogue kind of started doing that with some stuff recently. I keep spitting while I'm talking here. And I remember there was one that was like yoke into log a few years ago.
Right.
And when I first heard that, I was like, no, I don't like that. That's too silly. And then when you watch it, it was like super fun, super competitive, tested guys in a very different kind of way than what they were used to. You have to pick which gear you want to wear for it because it's not going to be like the same for both things.
Yeah, right? That's true.
Yeah, so I like that one. And then I think maybe... for my money, the coolest... I'm actually just going to pull this up on my phone here so I get the numbers right. For my money, I think the coolest event of the entire thing is... Hold on now, please. It's the Manhood Stones event. So it's a Trump weight for reps for stones. Think kind of the way they did it on Strongest Man on Earth. Mm-hmm. And the weights are awesome, too. So it's a 48-inch bar, so it's nice and low, so we can get really heavy with it. You can pick either 400, 425, 450... 475 or 500 pounds, and it's like I said, Trump weight, so any heavier one beats any lighter one.
Right. That 500 stone.
Oh yeah,
that stapled a few guys.
These Western guys, these Alberta and Jeffers guys have such a boner for that stone.
Yeah.
They just like.
I feel like they go to the gym, like they keep it at Tristan's, right?
Yeah.
They go there and they see it. And they just give it a little kiss and then they go home.
Yeah, they
love that stone.
They're so obsessed with getting the stone, and guys have like ruined like fucking competitions just like taking one-offs at this fucking stone before. Just in training, whatever.
I just love watching people try it. And then it's like,
it's a very
wasn't
big
worth
stone.
it.
I could do it, but I'm never out there. So that's the real problem. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I'm actually the second best stone loader in Canada. Mm-hmm. So I can do those things.
Yeah.
I just don't have the means. You know?
Right.
I don't have that stone, and I'm not as wealthy as say a guy like Jeffers, who can just like get on a plane and just fly anywhere in the world that he wants to go.
Right.
I can't do that. So I'm too busy paying for this fucking podcast. but they, they love that fucking stone, and I hope someone loads it soon so that.
Shut up about it.
So that it gets fucking loaded. Okay, right now, if you Tristan or Jeffers or Colton, who loads it first?
I don't know. I'd have to see like.
Really, I know.
Who?
Tristan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With everyone's injuries, because like I was thinking like who's injured where right now.
Everyone fresh as a daisy.
Okay.
No, not beat up at all. If those three guys walk up to that stone, I think Tristan gets it.
Probably.
And that's not a slight on anyone besides Jeffers.
Right.
It is a slight to John Jeffers, but it's not a slight to Colton because I think that those like I couldn't do it.
Right.
All joking aside, like I couldn't walk up and hit that stone, but I think that if anybody could right now, Tristan's really fucking strong.
Yeah.
He's deadlift his way up there.
He's just stupid strong.
He is stupid strong. Yeah, so that's a super exciting event, and I kind of hoped that they would do that because I knew they had access to really heavy stones out there. So I was hoping they would do something kind of crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be a pessimist about it, but I don't think anybody gets the 500 at the end of this fucking crazy weekend of events.
It's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Because this show is heavy, and it's like
it's 8 events over 2 days, which is awesome. I love that. There's nobody could ever accuse the Alberta Strongman Association and Ken Kidder and whoever. If there's more involved, I'm sorry. He just is the one that I've spoken to about it. Nobody could accuse them of taking it easy on this competition. There's no way you could say that this is just like stuff they had kicking around or whatever, and they decided like this is a really, really impressive list of events that are going to be a huge pain in the ass to transport, set up, tear down, transport.
Right.
And respect to them for putting it together because it's
2 days, so it's not like you could just wrap it all up and then whatever, like you're done.
Yeah, no, it's two tough days, and like you said, shout out to the volunteers who will be taking part in this because it will be a long weekend for those guys. So respect to everybody involved in it because it's going to be brutal. And to the athletes too, the guys who signed up right away. I think that's awesome. I think there's a really great list of guys here, really great list of amateurs here too. Some faces that we haven't seen in a while, if at all, before at Westerns. So that's really cool, and an opportunity for the 2 new pro guys to show that they belong, which is a really fun. There's a lot of fun little stories in this one. If you kind of look at everybody as an individual main character in this whole thing, everyone's got their own little stories, so that'll be really really fun to watch. You say a guy like to go to Brad. He's a guy who doesn't compete in strongman all that much anymore, usually once, maybe twice a year. But I'm sure that he wants to show, especially with an event that has a squat in it. He got second place, I believe, last year at Devon's Strongest Man, which is like the competition that this was last year. So he can do it. He can still hang with the younger guys, and God knows he can squat. So I'd be really curious to see how this one goes for him. And just these other, like, Larson's a guy who you forget how short of a period he's been doing this for.
Right.
Where he can come in and fuck shit up on his second year, second year as a pro.
He's still a baby face.
He's still a little baby. He's still a young chubby baby.
He's 27. Isn't
Really?
that insane?
Yeah, I thought he was like
8.
I thought he was like 34.
No,
No, I'm just kidding.
27. I said 8.
He said 8? Yeah, I can believe he was 8. He's like, he's cherubic. That's the word I would use to describe him. He's like a little cherub.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the Western Roundup. I don't think we'll talk too much more about Westerns until we start to get a little bit closer to it. All the events are out. I'm sure there's a few more athletes that are going to be added to this list. We already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 athletes on there. Damn. That's awesome. And there's a few that are some ones that I could predict will be on there.
It's everybody moving on to the second day, right? Like people don't get eliminated based on like placings because they have done that before.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I don't know. I haven't heard that.
Right. They talked about it last year.
Well, it's been supposed to happen the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And then the sign-up's been kind of like, so they just like we're not going to cut one guy or 2 guys or whatever. So they just let everybody just roll on to the next day, which might be what they do here. I don't know. That's a good question, actually. I haven't heard that. I'll have to inquire about that. I'll have to ask some of the who knows everything about Western. Larson.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the guys who knew everything for
Jeffers
for
probably
months and
already
months
knows. Yeah.
There's guys who knew things quite a long time ago. I should have asked them. Anyway, so that's the roundup of the sort of Western Canadian stuff, and we have coming up in Manitoba. I literally just posted. I'm getting fucking notifications for it this whole time here. Manitoba Strongest Man and Woman has been officially announced. Registration will open. Let's say if this comes out on Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, it'll be on Monday, Tuesday at the latest. It kind of depends on when Thrones can make the registration sheet. We do it at his mercy. But we're very, very excited for that one this year. Andrew Langelar, Jocelyn Grimolfsson looking to defend their titles. There's a lot of guys and a lot of girls who could really, really give them a run for their money this year. On the guys' side, Dan, Jeremy, these are two guys that are very capable. But even if you look, say, like Pat, who we talked about this 100 times, but like Pat Gregoire beat Langlar last year too.
Right.
So you can never count like a guy like him out, where if he shows up and just really is ready and the events are good for him,
if somebody could pull him away from the farm for
this is his farming life. Yeah, I know. I ran into his dad actually, and he was just saying how he's just been just work, which is that's that farming life, I guess. But hopefully he gets back to training again soon. Hopefully he gets to the strongman stuff, because there's nothing more than I love about I like Pat, because he's a small dude who can hang with the bigger guys. He can hang, and he can, and like
at any given moment too. It seems like
I'd love to see him at Westerns one year. I think he'd be really awesome.
That would be really fun.
Yeah. I think that he'd be really capable. But Manitoba Strongest Man and Woman, June 27th in Vita, as a part of the Vita Canada Day celebration. It's being done on the Sunday, so that we're not out there on a Tuesday doing strongman, because that would suck. And it's going to be really, really fun. Really looking forward to it. Vita's always been a really good place for us to have our competitions. And I think that it'll be a very interesting year, because I don't think that I'll be doing it this year. Just the schedule isn't really going to allow it. So it'll be a cool shakeup towards the top. A lot of opportunities for guys to get in there and fill that spot that I leave behind.
Right.
And train hard.
Yeah.
Right? Anything else to say on that one?
Nothing. Just be nice, I guess.
Yeah, be nice. Everyone be nice to each other.
Me.
Be nice to Jan. Train hard. So then we have, just to give a quick run through everything that's coming up. We have,
the seminar this weekend?
Up here. Yeah, seminar. We have the charity log competition on March 8th, right here at Iron Age. Sign up, get registered. If you don't want to lift, just donate some money. For people who donate, because people have asked about, can I donate and not lift? Of course. And in the interest of full transparency, I'm going to, if you donate and are not intending on lifting, I will shout you out on the Strong Manitoba page, just because I want there to be something that everyone can see.
Right.
It's not just this mysterious money going into my pocket and being oh no, don't worry, I donated it. You know what I mean? So we're gonna make sure that there's a lot of transparency on this. There's a lot of trust going from the Manitoba lifters and people to just give us money and trust that we're donating it.
Right.
But rest assured, that's exactly what's happening.
We donate every single cent.
Yep.
That we receive.
Yep. And it's we're looking to set a new number this year to give to them. Like I said, I think we got 1,600 last year.
1,650 or something like that.
So
yeah.
I'd love to be able to beat that, get closer to that $2,000 mark, and with your guys' help, we can do it. Mm-hmm. April 12th, we have the novice competition in Selkirk. We actually just had a little strongman Saturday. Me and Langlar went down there and worked with some of the new people there. It was great to see some new faces, people that I've like brand new, people that I've never seen in strongman before. Some people that I've seen in a couple other events, hanging out or helping out or whatever. And it was really, really fun. And it was just fun to have that experience of just trying stuff, giving it a shot. It's. I'm so far removed from that, and the people that I train with here are pretty far removed from that, where you get to just try and implement for the first time.
Right.
It's a really fun
just
experience.
Playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't get to have that very much once you're deeper into the strongman game. So then we have on May 10th, we have Tolstoy. We have our SCC qualifier in Tolstoy. Registration is open for that one. It's on the Strong Manitoba link tree, as well as ironagestrength.ca. We've already seen, I think we have our first 10 signed up for that one. So that's going to be a really exciting show.
People are excited for that one.
Yeah. So I did it again. Sorry. I'll be totally upfront here. We are working with limitations now in terms of the equipment that we have available to us, right? So Devin is obviously going to he's going to make his equipment available to us. This is not saying that he's shutting us out or anything. But the problem becomes that if we borrow Devin's equipment, we have to plan a vehicle, like a truck and trailer, to get out there, to pick it up, take it to the venue, take it back afterwards. I don't have a truck and trailer, so that means we got to rent or borrow or whatever, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. So what we're trying to do is we're slowly amassing things. I just ordered a couple of logs today, and we have farmer's carries that are still in the back of my car that's been there for a few weeks. And but we're just amassing things that we can have doubles of and competition versions of and everything. So what we're trying to do is get creative with rudimentary stuff. And the event that I think people will see that the most with this one is the Haviland medley, we're calling it. Tom Haviland is a guy on Instagram. If you don't follow him, you really should. He just does odd object lifting, and he's this like really cool Australian like redneck kind of guy. Redneck's not the right word, but like a farmer kind of guy, right. And like his equipment's all just like rusty old shit that he keeps out in his field and stuff. And he's awesome.
Very chicken barn vibes.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. If you're that old, then it's definitely you'll
what the fuck?
Not you. I'm saying for people who were there,
wait,
you'll get.
Okay. I've been really antsy.
Okay, well I'll wrap it up while you go.
Wait, okay.
We'll say goodbye.
Bye everybody.
Jan has to go pee. So we have the so we go check out his stuff because it's just worth watching anyway. But he had a lift that Thrones actually saw where he shoulders a keg and then picks up a single arm farmer's carry on the other side, and then that's his odd lift. And we decided to run with that a little bit, so we're making that into a carry. You can do it however you want. You can carry one at a time, both at a time. I'd recommend both at a time, but whatever. And you have to carry the farmers a certain distance, and you have to carry and load the sandbag just a little bit further than that. So I'm really looking forward to that kind of stuff where we have to get a little bit creative, pop on the old thinking caps, and see what we can come up with for some strange and out there events. We're also, I figured, hey, you know what? If the Western Canadian guys have to deal with these fucking Dinny rings, we might as well get the amateur guys involved in the fun too. So we have that as well in there. And it's going to be a competition of a lot of firsts for a lot of people, I think. So get yourself registered, get signed up. That's in May, June. Manitoba Strongest Man and Woman, end of June 29th, 27th. Oh, shit. 27th to 29th. Oh, it's on the poster. And following that, I don't want to get too much. Oh, you're back. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into the details of it yet because it hasn't been announced. But we do have another SCC qualifier lined up for July 12th. I'll let the people who are running that one do any more announcements than that, but that's what we're looking at right now. August the 8th, we will have provincials in Winkler. It was a blast last time. We'll do it all over again this time. And then beyond that, we'll figure it out. And
I'm trying to find a bunch of people to come for a road trip for August 16th and 17th.
For what?
Strongest Man on Earth.
Oh, yeah. Gian wants to go Strongest Man on Earth, and I want to go. I just can't afford it right now. So if anybody wants to go for a ride with
me and Martin,
with Gian and Martin, hit our line.
We're gonna hit up Yellowstone on the way back.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that'll be a fun trip.
Yeah.
Watch Josh compete and hang out with Martin and
Josh's mom.
Jeffers will probably do the Shaw. Like the Shaw Open?
I think so.
Yeah? There's probably a few guys, the Shaw Open, that you'll know. Mm-hmm. Maybe some French guys, too. Mm-hmm. And it'll be an excellent trip for you.
Yeah.
I'm getting, we were talking about it earlier, but I'm getting already that feeling of like, now that I've been there, like just the expo part of it, I really want to go to the Arnold's again.
I know. And I would love to go and just like not be so stressed out.
Yeah. I'm seeing like people announcing like, oh, I'll be at the Arnold's for this and that. And I'm like, it's so hectic and so zany and so like the mania is so crazy about it.
So fun.
But I really do like it too. Yeah. And I thought that I would never want to go again, honestly. Like after last time I was like, that was fun. I don't have to go anymore.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah. But now that it's getting closer, I'm like, I would like to go.
Every single corner, there's samples of like energy drinks, pre-workouts, and then it'll just give you that boost to keep going to the next corner and then you get another one there.
There's a Chick-fil-A in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of fun stuff to do in there. And I'm kind of like, I'm not going to go. We're not going. But we're not going. We're not going. But I'm definitely getting that the FOMO as millennials call it.
Cut it down.
So we'll leave it at that for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to my guest Gian Sarame for sitting in with us. Next week we have a very exciting guest actually. You might be able to guess. We're gonna have Alec Jose sit in the studio and join us for just talk about whatever the fuck he wants to. He's got.
I hate this. Bless you.
I just teased on you again with that one. That was funny. We're gonna talk all the huge stuff that he's coming up with his athletes. Inez is arguably the strongest woman in the world right now. Maybe the strongest woman ever. I think that we're getting pretty close to that kind of category.
Probably.
She's like such a monster. Lucas Hatton's got some huge stuff coming up, and we want to find out the brains behind the brawn. Alec Jose, how do they get there? How does he make these things happen? And how does he sleep at night.
What hair care products does he use?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these are all important questions. So stay tuned for that one. And Gian, do you have anything to say before we sign off for today?
No, I'm very excited to see everybody this weekend. It's our first kind of like event that we're going to see everybody for the first time since the season ended. Right? So it'll be fun.
Yep. Very much looking forward to it. And goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.